Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maureen O'Connor from Quilter 7 in Northbrook, Illinois, and I am the Opinionated Quilter. Today's episode number 180 is another great 2.5-inch square scrap quilt. Try to say that 3 times fast. First, I'd like to thank Wanda W. for sending in a picture of the quilt she made of the pattern that I had just drawn for you last week. A few viewers told me it's called Arkansas Crossroads, but again, I think it's a really great use of your 2.5-inch squares, and thank you, Wanda, for sending me in the picture. The second thing I want to show you before I get started is a wall hanging that I am making for the next generation in our family. It's the first one. I'm going to be a great aunt, and as long as I can't be a grandma, great aunt is the next best thing. And this baby is coming in December, and my niece's nursery, she's planning on an elephant theme. And you may recognize this as Elizabeth Hartman's elephant from Spectacular Savannah. And they don't know the gender, hence the green and the yellow. So I've had a lot of fun making it. You know, you can just take bits and pieces from different patterns and use them more than once. You don't have to just say, here's the pattern, I'm going to make the whole quilt. Just don't have to do that. But I think my niece is really going to like it when I get it finished. The only negative when you make a wall hanging is you do have to put a hanging sleeve on it, but I'll get it done. Okay, let's get to the episode. Another 2.5-inch square scrap quilt. I was looking at this quilt top that I've shown you before. This is so many strips from the, April 2019 American Patchwork and Quilting. And all those little pieces are 1.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And if you take two 1.5 by 2.5 inch pieces and sew them together, you get a 2.5-inch square. So why couldn't we make this quilt with 2.5-inch squares? And that's what I decided to do. Now, I gave away almost all of my 2.5-inch squares. I don't remember if I told you last week when I was showing the block for the Arkansas Crossroads. But this woman makes port pillows to protect people's ports who are undergoing medical treatment that have ports. And so she's using them for charity. So rather than keep my whole big box, I gave almost all of them to her. So I had very few 2.5-inch squares, but I still have a bunch of 2.5-inch strips. So I went through my box and I tried to pull things with some continuity of color. And that's what I think is the key to success in scrap quilts, is choose a color theme or focus, and I think you get a much better result. So I pulled strips, and the thing that's a beauty about this pattern is each block is 16 squares. Well, you get 16 2.5-inch squares from one width of fabric. So it's very easy to calculate how many strips you need. It's the same as how many blocks you need. So I did pull lights, and I pulled prints, and this is the square. So it's 6 lights and 10 darks for your 16. And what eventually happens is, even though these are not, and I've done quilts where these are half square triangles, but in this case it just appears to be a half square triangle even though it isn't. So this is what I made. I did the barn raising layout, which is the one I love so much. There's so many other half square triangle log cabin quilt layouts that you could choose if you like something different. I just love this one. And the thing about this is because you're using 2.5-inch squares, it's half the sewing. So if you're in the need for speed, you're going to get this done quicker. The other thing you need to remember on the barn raising is you need even numbers. You can't do 3 by 5, 5 by 7. You have to do even. So 4 by 6, 6 by 6, 6 by 8, 8 by 8, 8 by 10, etc. I'm pretty sure this is an 8 by 10. I didn't count it. This is a 4 by 6. It's a little small without the border. That would be 32 by 48. And I did put the border on, and even though it's big enough for a Project Linus, that doesn't look like a baby quilt to me or a little person quilt to me. But I think it might make a great wheelchair quilt. And I did check on the internet the sizes for a wheelchair quilt, and I am a couple inches too long, but I'm the right width. So I'm hoping I can find, once I get it quilted, find someone to give it to. But at any rate, really great use. The one we showed you last week used 4.5-inch background squares. This is all 2.5s. So if you have a bucket of 2.5-inch squares, I think you could get a really good result. You'd get more variety than mine with the strips. If you have all scraps, then you don't have to worry about, do I have 2 pinks too close together? It's much easier to get a distribution, but I would really suggest limiting your color palette to things that go together, and you can get a really nice quilt using your scraps. That's the episode. Let's get to the winner of the giveaway. The winner of the floral fabric is Patty Gam 828. That's PATTYGAM 828. Please send me your mailing address to quilter7inc@gmail.com. And if you do send in anybody and I don't respond to you, I did not get your email. So be sure when you send me your mailing address that you are the winner, that I send back, thanks, I'll get it out to you. And that you'll know then for sure I got it. The new giveaway, I tell you this over and over again. I have more fabric than I'm going to be able to ever use in the rest of my lifetime. So I just pulled out some good quality, nice fabric. There's not really too much of a theme to it. There are some browns in here, but there's some green in this brown. Another great neutral there. Here's a neutral that has both red and green in it. Another one. So if these colors, if these float your boat, I hope you'll enter. Here's 2 good Reads Like Solids that also go with it. As I pulled these, it's kind of the same thing as what I was saying about choosing your scraps for your scrap quilts. These all would blend nicely together. So this is I pulled this kind of the same way that I would pull for a scrap quilt. But if you'd like to win this bundle of fabric, you all remember what to do. You want to like this video, you want to comment on this video, and you want to subscribe to my channel. And in the comments, assorted fabric, and you will be entered to win. I want you to all know I appreciate each and every one of you. If you have any ideas for episodes, please keep them coming. And until next time, happy sewing.